Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Late Invoices show. I'm Matt Pearson and I'm joined by my co-host and dear friend, Cameron Hall. How are you, good sir?
Hello, Matt. How are you on this fine cold morning as usual?
So, this right here, third cup of coffee this morning, because I'm on 1 hour's sleep. You can probably tell the viewers by my face.
Yeah, I was going to
I
say, like, if you can see the video version of this podcast, Matt is looking tired.
Am I? Okay, well,
Yeah,
yeah, that's fair. It's warranted. So
yeah.
I've flown all the way back from Africa to land, to drive 2.5 hours, to get through my front door, to drop my bags in front of me, to set up my camera and click record for this podcast. I have literally just got back from South Africa, where I've been shooting, and we'll get into it all. But yes, Cameron, I am tired.
That's what you call grafting for the craft, Matt.
Yeah, crafting
Take
for the
note, listeners. Take note.
But, you know,
We're all about hustle culture, grafting, hard work.
No, I'm all for hard work, but not hustle culture. Not too much hustle culture. But yeah, I looking forward to chatting to you about my travels and my trip and the work that I got to do. And we'll get into that. But yes, I'm tired, and I also feel like I am fighting off a cold. I thought I was getting ill before I went, and then every day, like, I basically went to the shop and I just bought like all of these like Strepsils, cold and flu tablets, like, and just took a shitload with me. And every night I started to feel rough. I'd take loads of them, fall asleep, get up the next morning, shoot, and I've just kept putting it off. So I feel like now it's going to hit me in full force. Now that
especially after travel, especially after you always end up knackered after like airports and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But so it's funny when you can feel like illness is coming on and you're like on set and you're like, man, it was hard to get up this morning. Like, I'm fine whilst I'm on set, but like this morning I knew that something was wrong.
Yeah.
And then obviously over the course of the days,
and
it just starts weighing on you harder.
My flight was like at 9 p.m. last night. I landed at 6 a.m. this morning, so it was like 11 and a half hour flight. And my watch told me I only slept for 1 hour. But luckily I had the row to myself, so I kind of like tried to make a little bed and go to sleep. But it was very disrupted sleep. So yeah, feeling a little worse for wear, but we'll get into all of that and the traveling and all that kind of stuff on today's show. But how are you, Cam? What have you been up to since I've been gone?
Well, not quite as hard grafty out and about as much as you, but I've been, still sticking to my goals, doing my 3D and
nice.
Still going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 10. So when you texted me this morning, that was when I replied to you was when I woke up and I was like, can we do 11 instead? Because
So when I was driving home, it was like 7:30 in the morning, and I was like, I'll ring Cameron. And then I was like, actually, I won't ring Cameron. Like, he guaranteed to still be asleep.
Yeah. I've got to say, though, it's been interesting. I've been sleeping all the way through the night and on one dream. All week, I've just been like, every morning I wake up to Steph and I'm like, I just had the same dream all night. Like, I didn't wake up in the middle. I didn't change
weird.
Dreams. And I think it's because I'm just going to bed at like my natural, I'm just sleeping. I'm having really good sleeps recently. Anyway,
good.
So I've been sticking to 3D. I've managed to finish this drone project. I think I'm going to finish it today. So if you remember my goals for 2026, it was to, do it on this like certain schedule and do it this many times a week and do all this. And I'm looking forward to finishing this project this week because then I'm going to start making my own kind of like I'm going to look around and be like, okay, like what can I make and like start sharing and then I can get a bit of context on some of the things that maybe my weaknesses are or something that I don't know that I don't know.
Nice.
Because I've learned almost everything, but some of it has been learning it for the sake of learning it, like, texturing, and it's like, yeah, but I haven't had to do that yet because I've just been modeling. So it'll be nice to actually dive into some of that stuff, and I don't know, yeah. And then it's a long road from there, really, because then it goes into portfolio and clients, and I've been seeing a lot of people, how they talk about the video and photo industry or just the creative industry in general, where it's like difficult and it's not very forgiving and it's like hard to get work. And I see the same stuff in 3D, and I'm like, we made video and photo work. So I'm like, will 3D be harder than video? Will it be the same? Like,
I feel like see a lot of stuff all the same.
Exactly, yeah. Because I don't. I don't know. I see a lot of it with photography and video, where people do talk about how like they've been trying for like a year or two and they still can't get work, or you know, they like. And I'm a bit like, I don't really understand as much because like I guess I don't have any expectations. Whereas with 3D, like it's the same thing. And I was reading the comments last night on this video, and I'm like I'm not. Like I almost want to like, all right, let's see. Like let's if I don't get any work in 3D for like ages, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you're aiming for something or you want to do something, there's no like opinion or expectation on how long that takes. It's just I'm like if you're playing a video game and you're trying to defeat a boss, you don't go, oh, I'm not going to play now. I died 3 times. You just kind of keep dying until you do it, and it kind of is a bit like that, I think. And I'm just quite surprised to be exposed to like that again, but in the 3D side of things, and people saying that it is difficult again, and I'm sure it is. But
I'm not surprised.
You know,
I'm not surprised. Yeah. I think that any freelance, I imagine like if you're a freelance journalist, freelance writer, firstly, before I get into this, sorry that everyone that just watched me spill coffee all over myself.
Did you spill coffee?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
I was drinking it and like it went all down me, so I'm just going to take this hoodie off.
Matt turning up from the airport, coffee spilled down the front of him.
That sums up where I'm at. Right.
Oh, he's got the London camera division. You just looking for
Do you know
looking for an excuse to take that hoodie off, mate.
No, on London camera division, I've had a few people emailing me saying, "Can you deliver to here? Can you deliver to there?" I've had to take the website down.
I did notice you removed the link from your Instagram.
And I've had to remove the link. Basically, it really fucked me off. Just a really, really fast side note. So the company I was using, who are owned by H&M, they basically help like creators do print on demand stuff. So you upload your design, and then they have like blanks that they print onto, and then they ship it for you, and they link it to the Shopify, and they do the back end, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
which is the perfect scenario for what I needed. So I log on after Christmas. They've gone out of business. So someone had ordered, you know, Jaden, shout out Jaden, who was at the meet and greet that we did.
Yeah, our Aussie photo.
Yeah, so he'd ordered a t-shirt over Christmas, and my Shopify kept bouncing back and saying like order like not fulfilled, order unfulfilled, and I was like, what? They're meant to fulfill it, and it's meant to just be done automatically. Yeah, so I logged onto the website. They're out of business. The last order you could do was before Christmas.
Oh my god!
So now I'm a bit like, fuck, like I need to find a new supplier, a new system that works like that, hopefully, if I can find something like that. So just bear with me, guys, but London Camera Division is currently on hold because of, which is really annoying.
I feel like a lot of stuff updated over Christmas, just like weird things that never used to be a certain way, suddenly, like, you know, it's quite strange. It's like everyone's done a bit of a reset, like companies and stuff.
I know, well, yeah, they've left me, and they didn't tell me. That's the worst part. They didn't even email me to say, by the way, we're closing down.
Well, that's the thing. When a company's going out of business or they're closing down, they can kind of just dissolve the company, and all responsibility and all liability just dies with it. Like,
well, they were still chasing me for the fucking invoices, weren't they? So I had to pay.
Well, that's true. Actually. Yeah.
Anywho, I digress. That's why that's being parked for those that are wondering.
Okay.
Coming back to your point, I'm not surprised. I feel like any freelance space you're in, like I imagine if you're a freelance consultant or writer or journalist or, you know, 3D or whatever, I feel like we probably all share very similar sticking points with it's an unforgiving industry. You have to keep showing up. You have to keep getting knocked down. You have to have tough skin and be ignored a lot before you have a breakthrough. And that's a cycle that's like, is it perpetual is the right word? Like it's a continuous cycle that won't ever change. As you become more successful, knowing when to say no is more and more important, and you might not get rejected as much, but it's still very much part of it. And it doesn't surprise me that it's the same with 3D, that's all.
Yeah. Well, when I look at the YouTube videos, I was thinking this is probably like a what's that word where it's like you're in like a bubble of like people. Come on, Matt, help me. It's like an echo chamber.
Okay.
I think like when I'm looking on a YouTube video, because I think the YouTube video was like what work you can do like in 3D, just like different industries and stuff. And obviously everyone in the comments is all there probably because they can't get work in 3D. So it's like an echo chamber of just people that are like struggling.
And the
and
people
then
that are
obviously
getting work aren't
are just
watching that
getting on with
video.
it. Yeah, they're just getting on with it. Yeah.
So true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, like I did come across that and start thinking like, I wonder what my experience is going to be like, because I don't know anybody in 3D really. Like my network is based around video and photo, so it's I might be on it, in a couple of months and be like, yeah, man, it's like it's cooked.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, so man, it's been good. Yeah, it's been good. 3D. Also the gaming videos. Playing through God of War right now. Just started God of War for the first time, mate.
So Scott, my flatmate, was playing that when I was living in London. I used to just like watch him play. It looks like a really interesting game, and it makes me miss like playing like a good campaign of a game.
Well, this is what it feels like. Like since I started streaming games a month and a half ago, it's the first game I've played where I haven't really played it before. Like I know nothing about God of War. I've never seen it, never played it, and I'm like, this is like a movie.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the update on me. I don't want to linger on this too long. We're 10 minutes in, but yeah, man. What are we gonna talk about today? What's the roll us into the?
We're gonna get into what I've been shooting in South Africa, and then we're gonna from that, like I'm gonna explain a bit about what I was shooting, and we want to touch on over-delivering, and because I over-delivered for this shoot, reasons why, when it's a sensible time to do that, when it's not, going beyond the brief. Like all of that kind of stuff, and we'll probably touch on like the physical exhaustion of travel, working abroad. Like I'm running on 1 hour sleep, probably 1 hour sleep there, go into shooting for 3 days. I turned around roughly 600 edits over 3 days, which
crazy,
which is a lot.
Well, for context, how many edits do you usually deliver for like just your normal projects?
It varies. We'll
just in general. Just in general.
I don't know. Maybe like after a shoot, like 50, 60 final edits for a day's shoot.
Yeah.
But and then it's like, and then actually I made sure I had a couple of days to do some sightseeing. But then it's fly back, an hour's sleep again, straight into podcasts, and then I'm shooting campaigns in London Thursday, Friday, and I'm so excited for the weekend to just chill. But like I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm not moaning. I'm just sharing like how you can get tired. I feel really ill, but I'm pushing through it, and I'm pushing through it because I love it, and I've just been on this adrenaline rush for the last week, just shooting this stuff. So like we can chat about that, but I want to talk about the shoot itself. So kind of going back to over-delivering. So basically, it's a bit of a different shoot. I would say like obviously part of the work I do is, commercial campaigns for brands in the sports world, sports brands, that kind of stuff. And then the other half that I love to do, and I want to do more of, I think, especially after this trip, is documenting athletes. And as some of you know already, I've posted work like that before. I absolutely love doing that with like boxers and rugby players or like whatever it is, whilst they train, whilst they do whatever. And this was like a bit of a dream assignment. So shout out Sports Shoes. M11, there's a track and field like training team called M11 based in Manchester. Like there's a few famous athletes that are involved in it. So Keely Hodgkinson, who's the gold medalist for the 400 meters, and Georgia Hunter-Bell, who's an Olympic medalist as well. Bunch of Olympians. There's probably like 14 or 15 athletes in this group. Okay. 11 different nationalities. A lot of them are Olympians, future Olympians, blah, blah, blah.
So basically they're like elite athletes. They're like really putting in the...
Yeah, they're
it's crazy.
Top athletes, and, they're partly funded by Nike. Nike sponsor them. They're all like, most of them are all with Nike. Sports Shoes support them as well, and XYZ. So that's basically their setup. And 2 or 3 times a year, they'll go out to South Africa for heat and altitude kind of training. So
that is wild. Heat and altitude training.
Yeah, so
I've never even heard of that. In like,
without getting too much into the sciencey side, like it's not a super high altitude. I think. So we were like 2 hours from Johannesburg. And mate, I want to get into Johannesburg because it's sketchy. We'll get into Johannesburg. Anyway, okay. It's like 1,500 meters high. So like it's enough to have a certain level of like stimulus response for altitude, but also then add like 34-degree heat on top of that the combination of the two is like tough training environment.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they like choose to go there. The combination of the two. So we were 2 hours outside Johannesburg. Anyway, Johannesburg is super dangerous. Like, and I'd heard that Johannesburg was dangerous before, and basically I then did some reading online, and I shouldn't have done this. I mean, and it's basically one of the most dangerous places in Africa, people were saying, and one of the most dangerous places on earth. One Reddit chain that I read, someone said Johannesburg makes South Side Chicago look like a kid's playground.
And you're on a trip there with your camera gear.
Oh yeah, and so obviously all these things start running through your head, right? And you know, safety. And anyway, the team had me picked up by someone they trusted who was a driver. But it's probably like a 2-hour drive outside of Johannesburg, and it's the suburbs that are the sketchy part. And basically, traveling at night is also dangerous, and I just happened to land at night in the dark. So I didn't know this about South Africa. I learned a lot about South Africa, but like carjackings are very normal. Like they'll rob you, stab you, take your money. Like, you know, it's a really poor area, and there's obviously a massive history, political history, and all that kind of stuff that I'm not going to get into because I'm not an expert on it. But I learned a lot just from like that experience and the safety element of traveling in places like this. And you know, apparently Nike have a policy that no employee in South Africa can travel at night. Now I understand why.
Wow. Okay.
So next time I won't. If I ever go again, if I'm ever, you know, fortunate to get the opportunity to go again, I 100% will make sure I land in the day and I travel at night. Because basically, if you stay on the main highway, like the national highway, you're fairly safe. But my driver was like, if we go off here or go off here into these townships and stuff, like we are like in a really dangerous spot. Like we are not safe, and there could be serious trouble. And just knowing that, and obviously when you're with someone that knows the roads, etc., it's fine. But like, that's why they said to me, like, don't hire a car, because if you hire a car and put it in your sat nav and it takes you off somewhere, which is what happens to some people, and it reroutes you, and you start going on streets that you should not be on, and you stand out like a sore thumb, you're done for. And I'm chatting to the driver, and I'm like, so what's the most dangerous place in South Africa? And he's like, probably Joburg, where we're driving through at in the middle of the night. And I'm just like, God's sake. And he's like, and the highway we're on, it got quite scary. So he was saying that there was all the lorries were on strike that day. So he was saying, if they're still on strike, we're going to have to go a different way. And I don't want to take you that way, but we've got no other choice because there's a junction there that's really famous for carjackings. So if we go through it, you'll see I won't stop. I'll stay in second gear. The doors are always locked. Mate. And it's just and then I'm an avid overthinker, right? I'm so you start then like tweaking out, and you're like, fuck, tweaking. Like, you do, and you just like...
I could imagine you turning up to the shoot, and you go, Matt, what's going on, man? How was your journey? And you're like, mate, I am more stressed from that journey than just the shoot itself.
And don't get me wrong, like the odds are that you're okay. And I was chatting to various people on camp that have had different experiences for the... You know, I was only there for 3 days, and then I flew back to Cape Town, which again has its own safety issues, and there's parts of that you should never go. And the people I was with were telling me lots of different stories that are not my stories to tell, but it's just like, so it's a bit of a wake-up call. But mate, like loved Africa, beautiful place, magical place, but obviously so dangerous at the same time. In parts, you just have to know what you're doing, and don't be stupid at night. This might not be what people think is, you know, part of this kind of creative job, but you do have to think about things like this. Yeah. So anyway, that I digress. The travel and that experience was amazing but eye-opening. But then spent 3 days in camp and basically just documented the sessions that the athletes were doing over those 3 days. So like day one was a morning run and then a afternoon gym session in the gym. And then day two was another morning run on the grass track, and then an outdoor medicine ball like strength session, conditioning session, and then a bike ride after that. So we went like out into the sticks, and a few of the people were cycling. So we were shooting them from the cars, which was really cool. And then day three was hill sprints. So they were doing like just hill sprints up a hill, and I was documenting
I feel ill just hearing the word hill sprint.
So, which was my favorite session to shoot by far, because it was athletes literally pushing themselves to the very, very, to the point that they're throwing up and they're passing out nearly and they can't
well,
get
exactly,
up. And I got to document Cass, one of the athletes, American guy, was a really nice guy, and he was just throwing up all over his shoes, and I got a nice shot of that. And but that's the stuff I really want to document. So, and it comes back to why I was delivering so many edits. So, you do a morning session, I'll go out in the car and shoot them. They're probably doing like a 5K easy run on the first day, and I'm in the car shooting, and there's probably like 12, 13 athletes running. So throughout all of these sessions and this whole trip, the amount of photos I'm seeing opportunity-wise are just like bam, 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 everywhere. Imagine you've got 11 different athletes, all running, all training, all performing to their like peak.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like a gold mine. It's just like, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm like, damn, like this. I'm seeing photos everywhere and I'm so excited by it. So obviously after a running session, like I think after day 2's running session, I ended up with like 200 edits just from that morning. And, so after the shoot, I'm there backing up files, making selects as quickly as I can because I'm trying to get stuff turned over and edited because they had a schedule for posting and I wanted to get it all done. But when I've shot a morning running session and I'm making selects and I'm like, oh, that athlete would like that shot, that athlete like that shot. And a lot of these shots probably wouldn't make it into my portfolio or I would post them on my page, but they're good enough that I think the client would like them. I like them as shots, and I think the athlete would like them as well. So I'm still editing them and I'm delivering them because when you've got so many athletes doing so many different things, there are so many good photos to be had. So obviously, like, I think I went a bit trigger happy. And my first day, I took 4,000 shots over all the sessions of that day.
My God.
So like, and when mate, the adrenaline rush I got and the high and the excitement. Like, mate, I'm in my absolute element, documenting the world's best athletes, just training, fly on the wall, doing their thing. I absolutely adore it. Like, I love it. And so for me, it's like, yeah, I'm going to over deliver with the photos because there's so many. Like, I can't not just get rid of them. I want the athlete to see them. I want the athlete to have them. It's like a gift, isn't it? It's like I want the athlete to be excited that they've got stuff to post and they can share this process that they're training towards, the LA Olympics in 2028 or whatever it is. And like I want to be able to like help them share it, but I also want them to have these images as well, even if they don't post them, to look back on, Yeah,
you did mention. So I'm wondering, when you're making selects of your photos for this, you're making selects for the client with that in mind, but are you also sort of like marking certain photos differently than the regular selects? Because you're like, oh, the athletes could probably post these ones on there, or like use these ones separate from the client. Like, are you doing anything like that, or are you literally just like delivering them to the client and then you just included them in the bundle kind of thing?
Yeah, so basically to start with, like when I put my card in and I'm making selects after I've like put them all onto my internal Mac SSD, I'm just 5-starring. If it falls under one of these 3 categories, if I love it, if I think the client would love it, or if I think the athlete would love it. If it comes under that kind of umbrella, then I'm just 5-starring it, and basically they're my like selects. And then I start editing those and I go through them, and if there are 2 that are kind of the same, I'll get rid of one. Okay. I mean, even in some cases I didn't, because I'm like in my head I'm like, oh, but if the athlete's got 2 or 3 options, even though they're kind of similar, I want them to have that choice.
It's important though, because I'm thinking about like, you've got the stuff that you do for the client, but then on every project there's always something that you find like, oh, this isn't for the project, but I really like this shot. I'm gonna like keep this for myself.
Yeah, well, I was marking them as well, like green. So
exactly.
You can color code.
So there's that other element for, oh, there's the client, there's the athlete, and then there's also yourself.
Yeah.
So now it's like you're gonna have like.
So there was say selects. That's the wider selects, is it comes under those 3 umbrellas. Then I was marking in green the shots I really love, and I've got, and I can't wait to post and share these photos, man. So I've got 3 albums in my phone. So the first post I'm doing is my favorite like portrait shots. Then I've got another post. There's probably like 40, 50 images I love. And obviously that's a lot to post on my socials. So I'm going to do 3 carousel dumps. First one is loads of portrait shots. The second one is just the second batch of portrait shots. And the third one is all my favorite landscape shots I've taken, and I've like curated them. Do you know what? Let me send you some now, just so we can get your live reaction, because I think, mate, some of these landscape shots I'm absolutely like over the moon about. I'm just so excited about them.
Well, one thing before, as you send in those anyway, I just want to say, like, one thing that's really interesting is that you're still also thinking about how you're going to share these things. It's like, oh, this is the whys, these are the close-ups, and
this is also what I really want to talk about.
Oh my god, I already feel ill with like looking at how, like, oh my god. I like how you've done some perspective things as well, where there's like a runner in one place and then like down the road there's like another one.
Mate,
I don't want to give too much away by saying it.
I thought really hard about composition, especially with these landscape shots.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie, man. I really like the look of your work.
Well, thank
you.
Like
just like you have like some like you have like a look to it, and I think yeah.
Do you want to know something else that's mad about these shots as well?
Go on. It was
every single one of these photos that you're looking at right now was taken on that pocket camera.
Really?
The Ricoh. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. How fucking cool. So
wait. So I do want to ask though. Then, how did you know? Obviously, I imagine for the morning stuff, you're there for a couple of hours during that session. Like, but I'm wondering, how did you know when to take out your Ricoh versus like getting? So was it just like, I've been, because we do this in video, we might have been at first at the beginning of the shoot, you're like trying to capture sort of everything, or like trying to capture very specific stuff, and then after you've been there for like 2 hours, and obviously it's more of like this sort of thing where it's like not an event, but it's kind of like an ongoing like few hours of a thing. By the time you get to like the second or third hour, you're like, I've shot so many things already, I don't have to like stress about it now. Like I can shoot on my phone and I can do this because you've got a bit more freedom.
So I go into this like weird trance situations like that. I'm constantly
that's called flow, Matt.
No, heat stroke. Honestly, flow. That's the only way I can describe it. I'm like during these sessions. So like this shot is a great example. And guys, I'm actually going to release a YouTube video like talking through like my thought process and the kit I used and all that kind of stuff. But so I'm constantly scanning for images. Like I'm looking at where I can frame it. And I just felt in such a flow state for a lot of these kind of shots. And like, let me just send you a couple of other examples of this. So there's a shot where we were shooting with so there was a rugby pitch and there was a groundsman on it, like doing stuff with the cricket pitch. And like I was like, I know I want to get the runner between the rugby pitch, between the groundsman, and then have the groundsman in the frame as well. So like I'm constantly looking at the environment and thinking, right, when can I catch a shot of the runners running through this to set the scene or the environment? And like I was just in pure flow state. I don't know how to describe it, but
in like a strange way, I feel like this is why it's important to get like a good sort of like photographer, like like someone who can see things like as they're happening, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because there are so many things, like being able to think about getting the linesman guy in this image as the group, like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's like a moment, right? Like if they run past him, they're probably, so being able to do that on the fly and stuff is crazy. I did because we're talking about this image. There's another image here. Where is it? I'm not going to say what's in it because I think it's really funny, but this shot of like this girl in like the pink, I think it's one of the first images, and she's also got the tattoo of the Olympic rings on her arm, and you've got that shot like in there as well. That's like framed like that, and I'm like, that's crazy that she had her arm up like that, and like the tattoo of the Olympics is on her arm with what's happening around her. I'm like, that's
so many. It's
almost planned. It's almost so good. It looks like it had to have been set up, but.
Well, I'm like considering all these things whilst we're shooting. So there's another shot where one of the Olympic athletes, he's got it tattooed on his back. Let me send you this. So he's got the Olympic rings, and I've on purposely waited for the bar to go over them, and I've done a close up of the bar.
Oh wow, okay.
So like, you know, details like that, I'm just constantly scanning for.
We can't include these images in the pod, can we yet? These aren't
Not
released,
yet,
are they?
not
No.
yet. So people
Oh,
are just gonna
man.
have to.
Damn.
But this
Sorry,
is
guys.
this is my favorite shot. This is my, and like, again, thinking of unique perspectives, and I'm just trying to like think outside the box.
Yeah.
And you should see the before of that shot. So that shot is actually a super wide, just running shot of 3 girls running. And I've rotated, cropped in, found the shadow, and I'm like, that's a different perspective. That's something that there's always an image in an image. And you know, I love that. And
yeah,
that to me is my favorite shot of the.
You know that well. I imagine you probably get this more, but like in video, like we would have a shot, but then in the edit we would find like another version of that shot because of the edit.
Yeah.
And like I imagine it's like double or 10 times like with photos, because you can just crop in and the high res is still there. And
when I found that shot, I was texting Yaz and I was on cloud 9. Like I was just like, I don't know what it is, but I just like buzz when you find these little details. And I'm just trying to think, how can I showcase running with unique compositions, thinking outside the box? You'll notice like a lot of the shots that I'll be posting aren't the cliche running shot, because that's fucking boring in my opinion. Like I've seen it a million times. How can I showcase this sport and these athletes in a way that you guys don't get to see, like the details and the compositions, like you're there? So that's what I try to really push with like a lot of these images.
I like so this one that you've just sent with the shadow, is this on your proper camera?
I think it might be. I'm not sure.
Are some of them on the proper camera, or are they all on the Ricoh?
No, some of them are. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna say I like the graininess and like the
I've
kind of like realistic vibe, kind of.
Yeah. But going back to your question about the 2 cameras and knowing what to, so I got loads of Osmo Nano footage of this, so I'm going to include this in my YouTube video. I basically had my 70-200 fixed on my Sony A7R5 the whole time. And then just around my wrist, I had the Ricoh hanging. So what I was doing was I was shooting, and that was my like compressed zoom lens. And then the minute I wanted to shoot a wide, I was literally flicking my camera up, catching it, and just like putting my Sony on my shoulder, and then I'd be bam, 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 bam. And I was just switching between the 2 constantly. So every wide shot was just on the Ricoh. Because I was like, I don't have another camera body with a wide Sony lens on. I'm not going to faff around changing a lens, because environments like this, like you're looking at stuff, you've got a split second to capture your composition, it's gone. And I don't have time to, it was like when they were doing the hill sprints, I was taking shots of them on my zoom lens. They'd run past me. I'd then have to run up the hill to get to them dying at the top. And straight away, it's like I'm flipping to my Ricoh, I'm shooting, and I'm just capturing everything I see as fast as I can, getting up close and personal with them. And then it's like, shit, the next wave of runners is up, back to the Sony, bang, 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 bang. So there's no time to like be changing lenses and like all that kind of stuff. It's just like in flow state, dialed in, constantly scanning. As long as 2 cameras are to hand and I can see, shoot, that's all that matters. And that was kind of that was my setup for the 3 days. And honestly, like I love it. Like absolutely, I'm so impressed with what that Ricoh can do. And I pull it out and people look at it like, what's that? But some of the images it kicks out that I've sent you, like the fact that that full batch of those first images I sent you they're all on the Ricoh.
You literally can't. You can't. Well, at least to me, like I can't really tell the difference. Between what is on your main body camera and which is like when I scan through. But what was I just about to say? I was going to say that was it. It was you have your professional camera with you so that you can shoot on your Ricoh, and the client's none the wiser that most of these images are probably shot on the smaller one. You know,
I think it just comes back down to like gear, right? And like it's just what you do with it, and that's just pure. Like the Ricoh packs a punch, but it's like an 800-pound camera. But yet, like some of the photos that I shot with it on this trip are by far my favorite, and I'm just like, it's a no-brainer. Like the fact that it can, you know, kick out some of those images is phenomenal. So I'm so excited to post these and share them with everyone. And the reason why, like you can probably hear it, guys, from the way I'm talking about this project, like I'm so excited and buzzing off it. That's why I over-delivered. And knowing when to over-deliver, like I want to get asked to come back on one of these camps again. and sports shoes are a long time client of mine. I've been with them for like 2 or 3 years. I always want to over deliver them, make sure that they're happy. And the guys on camp were so happy, the athletes were so happy with the shots. And it's just like, I want to over deliver because I'm so in love with the images and I'm so obsessed with capturing these moments. And I love it so much that I want to over deliver. It's not a faff for me to do it. It's not a, do you know what I mean? It's a pleasure. It's not a chore at all. I want to. Because it genuinely, like, I love it so much, and I'm so excited about like getting to document these people and shoot these things, and it's a challenge. And it's like I love to, circle back to what I do is thinking about it with like a sports hat on, or athlete mentality. I'm training as well. Like when these guys are in the field training, I'm also training the way I scan and shoot and
high heat, high altitude photography. Really making sure that stamina's there. So
but it's just practice. I'm getting reps in as well. And when I get home and I'm back to the apartment, I'm so excited to sit there editing because I've got some stuff that I'm absolutely buzzing about. I'm just like, I'm in my element. I absolutely love it, and I'm just like, God, I could do this forever.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those trips, man. So fucking lucky and grateful.
You know that it's been a good shoot when you're knackered, but you get back and you can just keep
you're buzzing.
Going.
Keep
you know
going.
What I mean?
Yeah. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, I've felt like, so I over delivered because I was so buzzing about the whole experience, and I basically, like I said, I was feeling like I was getting sick, but the adrenaline every day and the excitement, I think, just kept pushing it back. And it wasn't until like I got on the plane and I was coughing a lot and I could feel it coming and I was getting run down. But I was just like, God, it was such a mega experience. And it's something I want to do more of in 2026. And what I think is also quite reassuring is the fact that I don't think this is something that AI can necessarily compete with as well, because it's me shooting like and documenting like actual live athletes doing what they're actually doing. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's a campaign for, yes, like there are Nike shoes and they're all wearing Nike and all that kind of stuff, but like me documenting it, it's very fly on the wall. I'm an observer and I'm just trying to create art and make something.
Well, also this type of stuff though is very much based in like you're not bothered about the images and like kind of like not necessarily what's in them, but like it's more about like the story of them,
storytelling.
Yeah. And like again, like I think AI is probably gonna. Realistically, I think again the pendulum swings one way, and I think it's going to swing back the other way, and it's going to be taken on more as like more of like a helpful thing to have compared to like actually full on replacing things. Because I don't know, like I can't imagine. I don't know, like there's details that just can't be dialed in, like how bad it is, like when you turn up on an Adidas or Nike or something, and they're like you have to be wearing Adidas shoes. Yeah. Like even the photographers and the videographers, like. They don't like it. So AI, I don't think will be. Anyway, I don't want to make it an AI conversation, but like there is definitely like different industries and markets for AI where it will be used and stuff like this. I don't think it really would be. You would probably use AI to like replace the sky or something realistically, but you're not going to like generate an image. But I did want to say, so like just going into like the over delivering side, so you've got things. You was talking about just then how it was really easy to over deliver. And I think some projects, like it is easy to over deliver. It's really simple and easy to be like, I want to over deliver. I want to go like not even the extra mile. I want to go the extra 10 miles and I want to do this and I want to do that. And especially for like a loyal client where you've been working with them for like a few years or whatever, it's almost like, yeah, of course, I'm just going to give you my best and whatever I shoot, you can have. It's not like, oh, it's restricted. But I'm wondering, is there anything that we can talk about where these are the things that we usually look for when we're thinking about over-delivering? Because as an example, I think you always want to over-deliver. Like that's probably one of the reasons why you want to set expectations with a client so that there's like boundaries as to, okay, this is where I would be over-delivering. Like this is our thing. And because we know what you're expecting, it's easy to over-deliver now because it's like, oh, well, if I just give you an additional 10 photos and you only wanted 40 and I'm giving you 50, then you know what I mean? Like it's easy. But then there's those projects where it's like, is it worth over delivering? Is it not? Like you know, like you want to, but some of the opportunities like this, you do absolutely want to be. You already know, like when you take on the job, you're like, I'm just gonna like go all out and like
Yeah.
do this, you know.
And that when you go all out, it helps and it puts you in a really strong position with obviously the client and the relationships and all that kind of stuff. But you know inside it's a feeling when you want to over deliver, and it just happens naturally. And I think it'll be on the shoots that you're really buzzing about, and there couldn't be more on the nose in terms of your dream brief, I think, and your dream. But also this kind of shoot, don't get me wrong, and don't compare it, is a very unique kind of shoot. You know, we're not in a studio selling a product. You know, so we're not in studio. So if we were in the studio, like we did an Adidas shoe launch with for sports shoes before Christmas, very different brief, holding the shoe like this, selling the shoe, and obviously like I still have loads of fun doing it, but it's not easy to over deliver in the sense that, you know, in the same way. It's such a different shoot. Like with this, it's like I'm over delivering because I want all the athletes to have options, and you know, like it's such a different dynamic when you're documenting like training like this, and there's so many more photo opportunities versus standing in the same studio where the environment doesn't change and you're holding the same shoe. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
basically, there's different versions of over delivering. There's like, oh, even the client isn't expecting. Like they've got their expectations, but then maybe you can go a little bit of the extra mile just in general. But then there's projects like this where like over delivering is almost like it's not just like a business decision. It's like a
creative
no,
decision.
this is like we're all there. Yeah, we're all there like on this experience. And
with a shoot like this, the opportunities are infinite. Basically, in terms of how many photos you can get, like an event, right? It's like it's all happening in front of you. And it's down to you how much you overshoot or undershoot. And I wanted to overshoot because I was so eager, which is a great sign that I'm 7 years into my career and I still feel that eagerness and that like hunger to want to overshoot.
Because there's nearly 8 years now, bro.
Or 8 years, whatever. There's photos to be had, and that excites me, you know. Yeah. But it's easy in scenarios like this. You know, it's like if you were doing a football shoot and you were documenting, you know, Messi training, and you were just with him for 4 days, and like I would just overshoot the shit out of that, man. Like I would just every single
I don't even think you would go home. I think you would just be like, you won't go back to the hotel. You'd be like, I'm just gonna sleep in the studio tonight, just so that I'm here when you guys get back tomorrow morning.
But for like 4 days straight, everything that he does is a photo opportunity. Do you know what I mean? So it's like when you're documenting someone and the way they train and like the bits in between training or whatever that looks like, it's a constant story in motion. It's the same with video. If you were documenting an athlete, you could kind of never cut.
Yeah,
in a way.
Just literally
you could keep rolling and rolling and rolling.
Even if they're just walking, like there is something in that, right?
Yeah. There's always something to be had and a story to be had. So, yeah, man, like over-delivered for all the right reasons and just loved it. And people might be like, 600 edits in 3 days, what the fuck? But like, and doesn't that set you up next time to, you know, have that same expectation? I don't care. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. Like for that client and that job and that brief, like it's the dream. When a client rings you and says, right, there's a shoot in South Africa, we want you to shoot it in your way, in your style, capturing the details, the emotion, the rawness of training.
And it's a subject that you actually like is in your like niche and you enjoy.
I love it. Yeah. So like, it couldn't have been any more of a like much more perfect like brief for me that, you know, a dream that would fall into my inbox. So, yeah, it was interesting. I was chatting to Harley. Shout out to Harley, who is out there a lot and she shoots and she does some video and photo and stuff. And I was saying I was interested to figure out if I'd feel differently if I'd been there for 4 weeks. So like they're out there for 3 or 4 weeks, and you then end up shooting the same session every week, week after week after week. And then would that start to get boring? Maybe. So I feel like being there for a week is a good, probably a sweet spot, and you see it all with fresh eyes. But if you're there again week after week after week shooting the same sessions, it might start to get, from a creative standpoint, a little repetitive maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you would end up getting a lot of the same shots as well that look similar, and it's almost like, because when you mentioned the 4 week thing, immediately I went, it's not necessarily that it'd get boring, but I just would hate to be away
Well, hate
that
to be away
long.
for that long,
Like,
but I also don't think you need to be.
that would stifle
Yeah,
what I'm willing to like put effort into shoot though, because I'm probably
I'd rather.
drained from being away, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah, I'd rather come in for 3, 4, 5 days,
Mm.
or even if it's a week, and be as like dialed in a flow state as I was, seeing stuff, shooting, capturing it as much as possible. I think if you were there for any longer, you probably come out of that flow state, and you're not as effective or efficient, maybe.
Well, that's also the thing with creativity though, is that it's like a concentrated, like couple of hours or a couple of days. Like if you're in this thing for like a prolonged period of weeks or whatever, you're probably only going to get like less than half of that is actually like
Yeah.
you in flow in like top concentration.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
for sure. And I was thinking on the plane home, it's like, cool, I've got these photos lined up, like the ones I've sent. But I'm like, cool, based off my goals and where I want to go, how could they be better? How could I improve them? Do I sit again and like edit them further and try and push them further in post before I post? Because if I want to be like one of the greatest sports photographers on the planet, the work needs to get better. So what does that look like for me? And I was just trying to widen my, and I was going around with that thought process. I don't know why I'm sharing that, but it was kind of in my head, and
No, it's good.
I was like, do I sit with them longer in the edit now before I post? And that was what I want to speak about. Also, how you curate this is so important. The way that I decide to post these images and share them is so important. And I think it's just as important as the work, I dare say, because it's so easy for me to put like, I took so many photos and I could put the wrong sequence of photos together and it just wouldn't be the same. Like I could put a shot like I got of an athlete that is like a decent shot and the athlete might like it, but in terms of like the creme de la creme and what I want to post, wouldn't make the top 20 images. So like if you don't think really carefully about how you curate your work and share it, I think that can be such a detriment that like someone might put that first as their cover image. And
well, it's also taking into consideration the context of where those things are going. Like you might say, like if you was doing it for your portfolio, the order of these images might be different compared to the way you've posted it on Instagram. And like, I don't know, I find it really interesting because I never really considered that until we spoke about it, I think a few episodes ago. And like, it's almost like its own phase in itself. You've got like, you've got like the post-production phase with the editing of the photos. And then you've also got like, okay, now we're in like the, not necessarily the marketing, but we're in like the presentation phase.
Yeah. And do you know what it is? It's like I've seen clients post shots and that's just not the image I would lead with in a million years.
Yeah.
And it makes me look at it in a different way and I'm like, whoa, like I wouldn't do that. That's not the best image by a long shot. And then I'm starting to say, well, like, should I have even handed that image over in the first place?
This is where you end up getting into the thing of being like, should I start offering to post these photos for them on and then you start getting into like account management. And so exactly, but like it's like when you deliver images and then you see how they've been posting and you go, what? Oh my god.
But because I'm thinking from my Instagram is really my portfolio, so that I want that first leading image to stand out. So I was thinking about for that first post, the shadow shot that I sent you, the last one. Like to me, like that would be like front and center probably of my carousel, like as the first leading image.
Oh, the carousel. Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's really different, and it would make people be like, oh,
well, let me scroll back to it because. Okay, I was thinking, I mean, from a colour perspective, though, like for me, from a colour perspective, because it's like cementy, isn't it? Like it's the road. So, obviously, it's your opinion. It's whatever you think.
But again, so like, what would you choose? No, what would you? Because this is really interesting. Because it comes down to taste and people's taste, and this is like. I think having good taste is really important in this industry because if you don't, you don't know how to curate your work effectively. Again, it's art, so it's all subjective, isn't it? But what would be so the very first landscape shots that I took where 3 are crouching, 1 stood up, and there's 4 runners. That's the one I'm going to lead with for the landscape shots because I feel like that really is striking as well. But for you, like, what would you choose?
So it's the one where is it? It's like this seems very commercial-esque, but I like the wide shot later because you've got like the split where one's on top and one's on bottom, and I like that one with the long grass where like they're running, but like it's like a little bit of the long grass from the side.
Yeah, see,
to me it seems very basic compared to the others. Like it doesn't seem like there's much story, but in terms of like, I'm looking at the composition, but also like the colors, and I guess like I'm looking at their faces a little bit. Now, if it was, I wouldn't use the top image though for like. I imagine you've cropped this to be 4:5, so that this would be a post with 2 images. Like this image
so
is like
all
one
of these
image.
shotes are landscape shots. Yeah. But
okay,
see,
right.
It's interesting you said that because that would be the last image I would ever choose.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I wouldn't. But I just mean the bottom one. I wouldn't. I think the top one is a bit more generic compared to the other one that you was talking about. But I guess it's story. I'm thinking about like, in a way, like, see, you know that one. Actually, let me have just a quick scan again because I wasn't thinking about them together, like 2 images.
I just want to forward you and sorry, listeners, I know that you can't see these, and it might be really,
I know,
really fucking annoying. But then look, I've just sent you a bunch of my other favorite portrait shots. So it's
my god. See, it's this line, right? Because you've got some images that if you just had them on the front page, you would think, this is like a commercial. Like, especially the cycling one from the side.
Yeah.
Like that, if you just scroll past that, you'd be like, oh, that's like a high-end shot. But that's not really what the shoot was. It wasn't like this high-end, like...
It's capturing, like, commercial. The gritty emotion.
Exactly, yeah. To be honest, like, out of these, I would have the one where the guy's, like, on his knees. like...
Face down.
Yeah, like, I would have that one, because it's almost like... But again, it's a story, right?
Yeah,
I think
people would stop, I think, and be like, what's going on there? Like...
Yeah.
You know, so it's...
Whereas this shadow one, I'd like... Some people would... As, like, a hook, like a capture one, I don't think that would be my strongest one. Because of the story aspect.
The shadow, the shadow one that I sent you the first time round?
Well, the one that you like, the one where you said this is the one that I would absolutely have as the front of the carousel.
Right.
But maybe you're seeing something that I'm not, because I like the guy literally like lying down on the ground like he's ill as fuck. Like
yeah. Or throwing up.
It reminds me of Flo's work. This one where the guy's on the ground like that.
Yeah.
Because she's got a few like throwing up ones. And obviously Flo's, actually I wouldn't have. He's got another one here where he's like throwing up as well at the side in the grass. Yeah, but like yeah.
I'm just excited to post them, guys. So keep your eyes peeled. I think I've got to wait like another 4 or 5 days before I can.
Yeah, but I'd be interested in us once we can actually share the images and stuff. I would love to go back through these again on the pod.
Yeah,
and like we can talk about some of these because they're crazy. They're so good.
Do you like them?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, I was going to say I feel ill looking at them though because of how.
Well, I'm trying to get an idea of like how I think it sits in my work in terms of the quality. I think it's some of the best kind of sports docu stuff I've done, but like I haven't done a ton. Like I want to do more. I want to do more of this year, man. Like I got a real urge for it, and I was just like, fuck, like I want to. And it not just being like having to document an athlete over one session, being able to like do 3 or 4 days with them.
Well, it's like as you said, it's an experience.
Yeah, and pick and choose the moments. Like a lot of the hill sprints of the last day turns out to be my favorite shots. And it's funny, I look back at day one and I'm like, these aren't nowhere near as strong as day threes. But I remember after day one being buzzing and being like, oh my God, I love this work. So it's really interesting to see. You find a rhythm and you start to like get a feel for it and the group and who looks best in front of camera and like who isn't up for, who's okay. So Cass, the guy throwing up, like I've got my camera in his face a lot and he's like okay with it. And he's like, mate, do what you need to do. And we had a long conversation over lunch about the art of it and me documenting it. And he's all for it. And I was telling him my goals and then I built that relationship with him. So on that day where he's doing hill sprints, he's like, he's okay with me literally documenting him throwing up on his own feet because he understands why I'm there and like what I'm trying to capture. and respects it. So, whereas if I just met him, he'd be a bit like, what the fuck? Who's this guy with a camera in my face as I'm throwing up? Do you know what I mean? So I think it's really important to then, like, if you can be there for either week in, week out at the same sports club or the same sessions, or be in camp for however long, I think that's really powerful, because you can start to let people, get their guard down, and you can then get in a bit more.
Well, I would also say that when you first get to a shoot, you're kind of like, people are kind of getting ready to go. Whereas it's only like afterwards, when you've got that downtime, where like you actually go, oh, like we're all normal people. Like even like when you're working with like athletes or famous people or whatever, like after you've captured and you've been into the shoot for like a couple of hours and there's like a break, you all kind of just go, oh, like, so how did you end up getting into this, or like whatever, and you end up talking to these people and getting to know them, and you realize that they're basically just a regular person, and then it makes the rest of the shoot, if you're with them for like the rest of the day or the few days, I don't know, you have more rapport with them, right?
100%.
And it really changes the dynamic of being able to stick your camera in the face, and they're like throwing up. And I would be interested.
I want to do more.
You probably wouldn't want to do this, but if you could put like your Insta 360 or whatever it is, the Nano, and have them throw up on it.
That's disgusting.
That would be a sick shot.
That's disgusting.
No pun intended. I didn't mean to say sick shot. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, I just think, oh man, like that would be an interesting perspective to go on the feed.
No, it would. No, I have no doubt. But anyway, we've been talking for an hour, so let's.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Matt's tired. Matt's got to get some. Should I?
I'm not going to sleep now. I won't sleep till later. But
oh god.
I feel like it's just some interesting insight. There's not necessarily a lesson learned from this episode as such, like a specific topic. We've just been going over like real life examples and what I've been up to, and I love getting to share the work with you, and so you can see it and get your feedback. And for those listening, I'm excited to share it on my socials, and I don't want to build expectations too high, but I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it. It was a really fulfilling shoot with me.
It's going to be the greatest thing that's ever hit the Instagram feed.
No, it's definitely not. But I think that it's a. Do you know what it is? It's a great step in the direction I want to go in 2026. Good start to the year. Couple of solid shoots with Young LA. I'm doing a YouTube video about that. Just keep your eyes peeled. I'm going to do another YouTube video about this camp as well.
I did want to ask what you thought about your first YouTube video, and by the way, I was inspired by your YouTube video because I loved it how you didn't allow the video to stop you from getting your to-do list done. Because for me, I'm like, I have something I want to do, but I accidentally get caught up trying to capture the thing that I'm supposed to be doing that I don't get through. And you just went, all right, these are my things, these are what I do. You spoke about a bit, and then it cut to like you having lunch or like something else, and then it came back and you was like, right, I've got through 3 of the 4 things on my to-do list. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, you can just do that. You can, and you it's that priority. And I didn't realize and so I did film some 3D stuff last week where I did just sit down and go, this is what I'm doing, and then like it would cut to it's done. And I don't know, I thought it was really interesting. I think you're really good at it.
Thanks.
Some of your compositions.
Yeah, I know.
Where I was like, you was down in the, and I liked the nature of it, and I think it's really good, raw. Especially if you're doing stuff like this. Yeah. I really liked it. So I hope
what I'm going to do for my next video. So the first Young LA shoot I did this year, I was wearing my Nano, and that composition where I'm sat at my desk a bit like this. I'm slightly to the left. What I'm going to do is have my mic and then have the footage from the day play next to me, and I'm just going to talk through like my thought processes, like how I'm chatting to this talent, and just do a bit of a shoot breakdown based and with the footage and stuff. So and I think that's just going to be a really easy way, and I'll have loads to talk about. So that's what I'm going to do for the next video, mixed in with a bit of just like day-to-day life, obviously. But I think that'll just be a really simple, easy way of doing it. So I'm looking forward to trying that. But yeah, loved uploading my first YouTube video. Had some really nice messages. People seem to resonate with it. It's going to be raw. It's going to be, like I say, pretty janky at times. I just want to talk about how I feel and how I'm trying to get closer to my goal at being, one of the best photographers I can be. and make a living from it to provide to my family and stuff. So, but anyway, let's wrap it there.
Yeah, man.
We've been going for a while, so
Yeah.
it was lovely to catch up with you, Cameron, as always.
No, you too. I'm sure there's more to talk about as well, but
there's lots to talk about.
in general. I mean, catch up as well between us. But yeah, man, thanks for jumping off your flight straight into a podcast. I can't imagine that was no problem. The best thing to be getting home to and having to set your camera back up again and stuff.
Couldn't wait to speak to you. That was but yeah, if you've made it this far, guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our newsletter. I apologize, I missed last week, but I was scared and traveling through Johannesburg. So give me a break.
Oh, that reminds me. So this episode is also going up a little bit later than usual. Yeah. But it's because Matt was away. So
yeah, no problem. No problems.
It's Matt's fault.
It's all my fault, and I take full responsibility.
Only joking.
But yeah, we'll see you in the next one, folks. Thanks for listening. Much love. If you haven't already, please click follow on Spotify. Leave a 5-star review if you like the show. It goes a long way in getting us to reach new people. Tell your mates, and have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.